Why is it so hard to truly relax? Not just sit down for a moment and not just scroll or distract ourselves, but to feel at ease in our bodies, to let our shoulders drop, to stop thinking ahead to the next thing. Hi, I'm Wendy. I'm an artist and an author. Have you ever noticed that you can finally sit down, maybe with a cup of tea, and within seconds your mind starts moving? Oh, I forgot to take something out for dinner. I should text her back. I need to remember that appointment. Maybe I should just quickly, and before you know it, you're back up again. If you're anything like me, even when there is time to rest, your mind is still busy, still planning, still remembering, still holding everything together. And today, I want to talk about that. Because I don't think this is a small issue. I think it's something many women have quietly carried for years, even decades, without really having language for it. So let's look at the invisible weight women carry. There is a kind of work that often goes unseen. It's not just what we do, it's what we hold. We carry mental lists, the remembering, the anticipating, the emotional tone of the home. For example, you might be sitting in your living room, but in your mind you are planning tomorrow's meals, remembering that something is running low in the pantry, thinking about a conversation you need to have, noticing that the house feels a little out of order, or the piano needs dusting, wondering if someone in your family is okay emotionally. That is a lot to carry all at once, and often no one else even knows you're carrying it. We notice when something is off. We plan ahead so things don't fall apart. We keep track of birthdays, groceries, appointments, needs, moods, expectations, and it can feel like if we stop holding it all, things might unravel. Or at least things won't go as smoothly. And then you have to clean up the mess. That alone makes it very difficult to relax, because relaxation requires letting go, and many of us don't feel safe letting go. Let's look at one aspect of this, the pressure of being seen and judged. It's like another layer, the quiet awareness that we are being evaluated. Sometimes it's subtle, almost in the background. Our homes, are they tidy enough? Our appearance, are we put together enough? Our choices, are we doing life right? Even something as simple as sitting down in the afternoon can carry a whisper of, shouldn't you be doing something more productive? You might even think of a time when someone dropped by unexpectedly and your first feeling wasn't joy. It was a quick scan of your surroundings. Or when you chose to rest but felt the need to explain it later. That kind of pressure doesn't leave much room for peace. It keeps the nervous system slightly activated, always on, always a little bit braced. But then there's the spiritual invitation to rest. When we turn to Scripture, we see something very different. We are not only allowed to rest, we are invited to. In fact, we're commanded to. In Psalm 46:10 it says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not laziness, it's trust. It's stepping back and saying, God is holding what I cannot. Jesus said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." That tells me something very important. If we're weary and if we feel burdened, rest is not something we have to earn by finishing everything first. It's something we are meant to receive in the middle of life as it is. In Psalm 23, it says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul." I love that image because sometimes We don't lie down on our own. We keep going. We push through. We tell ourselves just one more thing. And yet here, we are made to lie down. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads us into stillness. We're restored not by striving, but by being. So, why is relaxation so hard? Why does it feel so hard? Why do we resist it? A few reasons I've noticed. We feel responsible for everything. We're used to being needed. We equate rest with falling behind. We don't trust others to take over. We've done things a certain way for so long. We don't know what actually relaxes us anymore. Let me give you a simple example. You might finally decide to take an afternoon to yourself, but instead of enjoying it, you feel slightly uneasy. You might think, I should be using this time better, or I hope nothing's being neglected, or I'll just check a few things. And so even your rest becomes a little bit of work. And sometimes we're simply tired in a deeper way, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. That kind of tired doesn't go away with a nap. It needs something softer and slower, more intentional. So, how can we gently offload the weight? If we want to relax, truly relax, we have to begin releasing some of what we're carrying. Not all at once, of course, but slowly and thoughtfully and prayerfully. You might begin by asking, what am I holding that isn't truly mine to carry? For instance, are you making decisions that someone else could make for themselves? Are you managing things that don't actually require that much attention? Are you stepping in before anyone else has a chance to help? Sometimes we become so capable that we've also become over responsible, and that can be gently adjusted. It might look like letting someone else handle a task, even if they do it differently, simplifying meals instead of planning elaborate ones, reducing commitments that feel draining. That's a really good measure of whether or not we should be doing something. When you think about it, do you feel heavy or light? It's also letting go of perfection and sometimes owning less so there's less to manage. There's a quiet freedom in living a little smaller, a little slower, and a little lighter. All right, what about lowering the standard of perfect? This one can feel tender because many of us have taken pride in doing things well. But there comes a point where the cost of doing everything right just becomes too high. For example, maybe the house doesn't need to be perfectly in order all the time. Maybe meals can be simpler. Maybe not everything needs to be done today. You're allowed to change your standards. You're allowed to decide this is enough for this season. You are not here to meet everyone's expectations. You are here to live the life God has given you with peace. Ecclesiastes 4:6 says, better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Ouch. One handful with peace. That's a beautiful image to carry. Okay, how do we create boundaries around rest? Because rest doesn't just happen. It often needs to be protected. That might mean letting others know you're not available for a time, or closing a door, or taking a walk alone, or turning off notifications, or not answering immediately. You might even say something simple like, I'm going to take an hour for myself. At first, that can feel uncomfortable, but boundaries are not unkind. They are how we care for what matters. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowds to be alone and pray. There were always more needs, more people, more demands, but still he stepped away. If he needed that, surely we do too. He also said he only did what the Father told him to do, which is a good way to center our lives. Are we doing what the Father is telling us to do, or what everyone else and everything else is the one telling us? Okay, so now it's time to find your own way to relax. Relaxation is not a one size fits all, and this is something worth exploring gently. For some, sitting quietly with a cup of tea by a window works. For others, it's a slow walk, noticing the trees, the sky, the air. For someone else, it might be reading, or knitting, or painting, or simply lying down for a short rest. The question is not what should be relaxing, but rather what actually helps me feel calm and restored. You might even experiment a little. Try a few different things and notice, does this settle me or stimulate me? Do I feel softer afterwards or more keyed up? You don't have to justify it. You only have to notice what restores you. What about building a life that includes rest? Instead of waiting for rest, we begin to build it into our lives in small, gentle ways. A slower morning routine, a quiet cup of tea in the afternoon, a peaceful evening without too much input, not as a reward, but as a rhythm. Exodus 29:10 says, 6 days you shall labor, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. There's a pattern here: work and rest, effort and restoration. Both are part of a full and meaningful life. And I have to ask, do you think maybe God knows what he's talking about when he says we need rest? I do. If you've been finding it hard to relax, you're not alone. There are real reasons for it, and perhaps you've been carrying more than anyone realizes. But there is also a way forward, not by doing more, but by gently letting go. Let go of pressure. Let go of people pleasing. Let go of perfection. And let go of what was never yours to carry. And allowing yourself slowly to receive rest again. You don't have to change everything overnight, even one small shift, one quieter moment, one simplified decision, one boundary can begin to open the door. And perhaps today you simply begin with this: a deep breath, a soft place to sit, a few minutes that belong only to you, and the gentle reminder you are allowed to relax. Please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell to get the notifications when I have new videos. Also click the like button because that helps my channel and it helps other people know that there's something here that might be for them. And I'll see you next time.